Welcome to the Nortec Staffing Solutions how-to video in regards to crafting a cover letter and also doing a resume as well too. So previously you would have seen the little short clip on how to make a cover letter and also how to make a resume as well too, what the elements are for both the cover letter and the resume, how there's a lot of similarities. But what we're going to cover in these sessions is basically how you go about making that on the Microsoft Word document, because I know that some people aren't quite well rehearsed in this area. So basically this will enable you to be able to take the guesswork out of what you're doing in terms of making a resume. Alright, so I'm just going to start off with some of the basic elements that I've worked on. Okay, so up the top over here in this section we've got what we call a header or a footer, which you can see up over here. You can see it's kind of highlighted and a bit of yellow at the top, and it says close header or footer. So that's basically for the top and also the bottom of the page. So you've got your footer down here and your header up here. For your footer you can also add in page numbers, but we'll cover that a little bit later on with our resume section. Okay, so moving on. Basically with any sort of cover letter, as I stated earlier in the slide, that you always have to keep the approach really formal. So any letters that you might have received, which is probably usually bills or some letter from the government, they usually follow a very similar sort of structure and a format. Even the letters that you get from job active providers as well too. So we want to ensure that we include the right sort of information when we're actually applying for these jobs. So basically at the top we've got your name, which will be Jungle Jim. Look, it could be anybody's name up here, but obviously you would put your own name in, and it'll be the same over here for this section as well too. I've got it over to the right hand side of the page, only to emulate what you would normally get in a professional letter or a document that's a formal document from either the bank or, like I said, from the government or other sort of form of bill. You know, they usually would have your name over on this side, so it's about trying to emulate that sort of professionalism. Also, we've got down here a position that's advertised at Bunnings. Okay, and what we're doing with this is just that if you are applying for a job with a particular organization, it's always important to add that information to acknowledge that you know where the job is and you know the location of where the job is. Also, generally in this area where I've got attention, which is shortened to HR department, you can include either a hiring manager, their name, or at best guess, because it's a large scale company, you want to just put down HR department. So if you do know the name of the person, it could be Mr. Bob the Builder for all we know. So it could be Bob the Builder. Then include the name in there. You know, include that person's name in there. Make sure you acknowledge who they are that's actually asking for these applications for these particular positions. So Mr. Bob the Builder. Okay, so you wouldn't need to whom may concern. It would be dear Mr. the Builder, and that's what you would include there with your cover letter. However, because we don't know who the person is and because it's a large HR department, what we need to do next is just actually put down to whom may concern, or you can put down something such simple things such as dear sir or madam. Dear sir / madam, or dear madam / sir. Okay, so keeping things really polite, keeping things extremely formal. However, we're going to just stick with to whom may concern. And so what you're trying to say here in this next bit is you're applying for a job that was advertised on Seek, and we happen to have found a job for Bunnings on Seek, and this one is the Rose Hill Store Support Centre. I have no idea where Rose Hill is, but we're still going to include that in. Your cover letter. Okay, and here we go. We try to work our magic, okay, with our cover letter. So basically, a lot of times people come through and they go, I don't know how to apply for a job. I don't know what an employer is actually looking for. What do you think? And look, I like to take the guesswork out of what people can actually put into their cover letters or their resumes by saying, have a read over the job ad, and the employer will give you a lot of hints about what sort of person they're looking for in the job, and also some of the I guess the key elements they would want you to include in their cover letter. And so we look over here, we look at some of the duties that this person will need to perform, and you can actually include them inside your resume. So obviously we've got liaising with internal and external stakeholders to address trade-related inquiries. You've got processing orders and quotes, answering inbound, outbound calls, developing and maintaining a professional network with key stakeholders, managing a set customer base. So they're basically giving you a set of duties, and what you can do with this is actually copy and paste it into your document. You don't have to actually go through and try and second guess what you're supposed to do. And even down here, these are your duties. You've got role requirements, and these role requirements are great because they've already outlined to you exactly what they want in a person, what they want the person to do in a role. An enthusiastic and friendly and outgoing customer service orientation with strong emphasis on delivery. That's the very first one. The second one down here, willingness to learn, assist others, and work in a team-based environment. Excellent. Next one, experience in providing a great customer service over the phone with a friendly, courteous, and positive attitude. So in regards to finding out what we actually need to put into our cover letters or our resumes, they've already given us all the answers here. Okay, so we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just have to make the wheel look like you had invented it. Okay, so that's what we're trying to go for here. Also, one of the key things that I've actually learned in my time working in employment services, doing recruitment, is that if you're applying to a large company like Bunnings, there is not one person that's dedicated to just sitting down and looking through every single resume that's going to come through via their computer system, email, whatever. There's not even a team of people that is just dedicated solely to going through all of the resumes that come through. There will be a team there, yeah, definitely, for the HR department. But what generally happens first is that there is actually a computer system that looks at keywords that are basically in this ad. And if you don't have those keywords in your resume or in your cover letter, then unfortunately, no matter how great you are as a person, or even if you have the appropriate skills for that job, you will not be considered for the role because the computer system does not recognize any of the words in your resume or cover letter as being something that that's been input into its system. So the computer systems have certain words that are put in. So it'll be things like enthusiastic, friendly, outgoing, customer service orientation, willingness to learn, courteous and positive attitude. Those could be some of the things. Strong time management, organizational skills. Those are good ones. Maintaining a professional network with stakeholders. And those are some of the words that they'll be looking for. That will be some of the key phrases and key words that they'll be looking for in terms of the right person and the right fit for this particular role. If you have some of those words inside of your cover letter and your resume, then it makes it easy for them to be able to pick it up and go, yes, you are the type of person that we want working here at Bunnings in our commercial customer service officer role, which is at Rose Hill Store Support Centre. Make it easier for them. Do not make it too hard. So this is what we do. We go through that process of actually looking through what some of the keywords are. And a lot of people will be thinking, well, that's cheating. You're plagiarizing. Well, no, we're not. What we're basically doing is that we are going to be rephrasing the words that have been given to us. Okay? So we're not going to plagiarize. We're going to rephrase. Okay, so going back to our cover letter. These are some of the elements that we will include. So we're going back to the start. So to make it soon, I'm applying for a position that was advertised on Seek for the, and I'm just going to copy and paste it again because that's just the name of the role. And I'm just going to adjust that because that's just come up ridiculously large. So if you ever do that, if you ever copy and paste and it comes up like that and you go, no, what's happened? If you go down over here to the section, which is the paste options, you've got a number of different options you can choose from. Always go for the A. So basically what it does, it just keeps the text that you've copied, but the format in which it'll look like will be the same as whatever else is going on in the document. Okay, so that's another little handy tip for a lot of you people out there. So if you see that little A, click on that just to get everything back to normal. Okay, so you're saying, I applied for the position that was advertised on Seek Commercial Customer Service Officer, Rose Hill Store Support Center. Full stop.